Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. It's on good government using Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft SharePoint, and Microsoft Teams to bring efficiency to government work. This is being held by Crow Canyon Software. I am Scott Restivo, President and CEO of this company. We have been in business for 21 years now, doing solutions not only for government, but for organizations around the world. But government has been a large part of our client base, and we've done a lot with it. We're based in California. We are a certified small business in California, and we're also a preferred partner with Microsoft in business applications. We've had various relationships as far as what part of Microsoft we're in with, as the years went by. We were in Microsoft Office for a while, the Outlook public folders, but we've been in the SharePoint space ever since it came out in 2007, which is a good 14 or so years ago when it first came out. And we followed it along ever since. We've been doing our applications in SharePoint, Microsoft SharePoint. We now have applications in Microsoft SharePoint 2013, 2016, and 2019. Those are our on-premises SharePoint installations. We also have a number of Microsoft Office 365 applications. They call it Microsoft 365 now. It used to be Office 365. So I use the name Microsoft Office 365 as we transition to their new name, but you know what I mean. And that is where a lot of government agencies, a lot of other organizations are going, but we are in both worlds. We're in the SharePoint on-premises world, and we're very strongly in the Microsoft Office 365 world with our applications. So what we do is we have 4 basic areas that we focus on. Business applications, out-of-the-box solutions for core business functionality. These are used worldwide in many, many different situations. We have Nitro Studio, which is our no-code application creation platform for people who want to build forms and workflows, and we'll show you some of that today, as well as the applications. We do a lot of custom solutions, and in government, we find a lot of times there are particular requirements or regulatory compliance requirements or other demands, or you could call it requirements, whatever, that cause us to build custom solutions. And those custom solutions are based usually on our applications or on our Nitro Studio. So they're very cost effective to implement because we're using a very strong base of what we have in place already. We're not building from scratch, and organizations save substantial amount of money working with us to build custom solutions, because we're really just tailoring what we already have to fit the particular requirements. And the fourth thing that we've moved into lately, and I'll show you a little bit of that today, is the AI and bot services, which we think has a really big future and has a big place, especially if you're on the Office 365 platform. So we'll show you some what's going on with this in this webinar. You'll see how these things can be used to help good government and drive efficiency. And as far as applications go, we have core business applications, as I mentioned, like help desk or service desk or work orders, asset management programs and equipment management, customer service, facilities, equipment, HR and onboarding, security access. Security access is big in the government. Onboarding, contract renewals, document management, marketing, purchasing, project management. So we cover a wide range of possibilities, and these are all implemented in the SharePoint on-premises or in the Microsoft Office 365 space, depending on what your requirements are. And some people start in premises and move to Office 365. It really varies according to what your needs are there and where the government organization is in their progress using the Microsoft application platforms. So we have also the Nitro Studio, which runs again in the on-premises and in the Microsoft Office world, Office 365 world. We have this has forms, workflows, reporting, portals, modern UI, chatbots, database integration, and really a full-fledged set of tools where you can build your own application. People use this to replace InfoPath forms or outdated access forms or other legacy solutions where they want to develop a large set of forms or a large set of forms and workflows go together. So we call them forms workflow solutions, and be able to be very creative and very innovative about what they build with this on the SharePoint and Office 365 platform. Right now, what I want to do is pop up a poll and ask what version of SharePoint you are on, SharePoint or Office 365, so that we can get a sense of where to orient this webinar and what to show. So if you don't mind taking a moment to answer that, thank you. What we see here is a large portion of people on Office 365 and SharePoint Online, and another portion on SharePoint 2016. And this makes a lot of sense because what we found is not so many people have moved from 2016 to 2019 yet, and a lot of people have moved to 2016. So the on-premises world, we have the maybe 1/3, or a little less than 1/3, than most people on SharePoint Online. So I'll do a lot of presentation on what's on the Office 365 world, and a lot of it does apply to the SharePoint on-premises just as well. And just to mention, on the SharePoint on-premises world, we have what we call a Nitro secure version, because people sometimes want to keep all the content and all the data fully within their SharePoint farm. They don't want anything going out to the cloud. Of course, Office 365 is completely opposite. Everything's up on the cloud. But in some government situations, they need, not just government, but other organizations, they need to keep all their material, all their data, all their processes within their environment, within their network, their local network. And we do have that available for the on-premises world. But the Office 365 is a different story. It's already up in the cloud, and there's a lot of interaction with cloud-based services. And our programs do run in the government, what they call the GCC, the government cloud, and Office 365. And Azure up there. So if you have some certifications you want to talk to us about, FedRAMP and all those kind of things, we'll go over that with you and get into detail. I won't go too much in this webinar, but so let me show what was the inspiration for this webinar. And this was I got this in an email from the university that my daughter goes to. She goes to Cal Poly down in San Luis Obispo, and they're sending out, of course, a lot of notices about COVID and the changes to the campus and all that. In fact, she's home now taking courses remotely rather than being there in the dorm. And we're not sure what's going to happen next fall, if she'll go back there or not, but we'll see. But what I got is this email that said, from the president of Cal Poly down in San Luis Obispo, about a month ago, less than a month ago, a few weeks ago. And it really struck me because it says it's a government, CSU is a California government organization. We must accelerate our efforts to modernize, optimize, and centralize administrative functions to more effectively eliminate redundancies and inefficiencies and create cost savings. I read that and it struck me, that's exactly what Crow Canyon does. We help you modernize, optimize, and centralize administrative functions so that you can more effectively run your organization. You reduce the overhead and reduce the costs, eliminate inefficiencies. So I felt like this was really good to have a webinar like this and show what we're doing. And hopefully people who are joining this webinar will talk to us in more detail about what their needs are and how we can help with this and what specific area. I know it's a very general statement here, but there's specific areas we can help you with. It could be purchasing, it could be onboarding, it could be security access reviews. It could be you want to replace InfoPath forms or old access forms. We can help you with all those things. The only thing that's required is a certain level of commitment to the SharePoint on-premises or the Microsoft Office 365 space that you're moving into that world, and you want to take advantage of those capabilities that Microsoft has presented on those platforms. And Crow Canyon is a great partner to work with you on that due to our extensive experience, as well as the really good applications and Nitro Studio that we provide. So I'm going to jump into some demos right now. And I'm not a big one on going through endless slides here, so I'd rather show than tell. And so let me get out of this PowerPoint and go to well, this isn't a demo, it's our website, but I'll show you our website and what we've done here. So we have this website, of course, everybody's website, and we have sections on what we've done for government solutions. Different things you can look at of what we brought to the government space, whether it's IT technology or operational efficiency with HR requests and purchase, administrative services, work orders, contracts, onboarding. It's all things that are in real use at organizations, not only in US, but also overseas governments. But in US, we have a lot of federal and military. We're doing a lot with the Navy, and you see right here, Navy, Department of Energy, Army, Forest Service, different laboratory, different agencies, working with DOJ for some things, and Treasury Department, and all kinds. And not everyone's listed here. We also work at the state level, We're in California, so we have a lot going on with the state of California. Of course, it's a very large, budget, large organization, the California state government. And we're based about an hour from Sacramento, so we can engage with the people there. You know, we used to have in-person meetings anyway. You engage with the people there quite easily, and we spent a lot of time up in Sacramento prior to this COVID thing. But we're also in all the other states, many of the other states, let's say everyone. We have an office in Rhode Island that helps handle the New York to Boston, even Washington, D.C. Range of business. We have people in the Southeast. We do a lot in Texas. Minnesota is a big one. Just trying to name Nevada, anywhere. So we're in Hawaii even too. So we're covering at the state level. We also are in the county and the city municipal level also, with a lot of different cities and counties. Like here's one in North Dakota and Indianapolis, even overseas in Toronto. Well, not overseas, but up north in Toronto. Different counties, and then also a lot of quasi-government type agencies, like transportation agencies, like VTA, which is in Santa Clara, California, and OCTA, which is Orange County down in Southern California. And a lot of utilities. We're doing like personal risk assessments, and also we're handling critical essential assets at utility districts. Here, where's one here? We're saying, like, you can read about some of it on our website, managing critical assets for a nuclear power plant, for example, or request tracking for government agency, or FOI request for government. So we can jump in with you and help you solve your problems that are creating inefficiencies or legacy programs. One job we're doing right now is replacing access forms that were created in, I think, the late 90s, and the person who developed them and was supporting them is now retiring. So finally, at the end of that, and when push comes to shove and they can't do it any longer because the person is retiring, they come to us, and now we are replacing those access forms with our Nitro Studio. Either a preset application or one we build with the Nitro Studio itself. Now, if you're in California and state government, you might want to know our capability statement, and that's something that you put together and you can download. It's in fact one of the handouts in this webinar, so you can do that if you want. We do have a page specifically dedicated to California and things we've done here in California with the Franchise Tax Board and other agencies in California. The Department of Social Services covered California, their Obamacare thing, the Air Resources Board, irrigation, different cities. So we've covered also school districts. So you can see that we've done a lot with these agencies. And what have we done for them? We've done help desk, work orders, assets, purchasing, HR, and onboarding, and contract management. All these are, these are core business applications, but in government, they have specific functions they have to follow. And please communicate with us as to what the need is. It isn't necessarily like it has to be that exact program out of the box. We can tailor it to fit the requirements and needs, and help you meet your goals and with these build your own solutions or modifying one we have already. And then just to finalize, before I go into actually showing the programs, we have a whole blog roll here that will talk a lot about what is possible with our systems and with Microsoft Office 365. And including our Nitro Studio, and many particles here. And one is, here's one, for example, benefits of replacing access forms and databases with Nitro Studio. So if you do have old legacy forms with access, or we actually have a whole section on InfoPath replacement, and we have an ebook you can download about that. See right here, InfoPath replacement ebook. You can download that and get lots of information on InfoPath replacement. Okay, so that's a little huge amount about us. It's just we're very interested in helping your city, state, federal government agency, whether in the US or outside, do better, do more fit, and solve those problems that were presented by the quote I mentioned earlier: reduce inefficiencies, have cost savings, eliminate redundancies, those kind of things. So let's see what we're doing here. Okay. Oh, here it is right here. Yeah, so let's go to the other screen here and go to this. Here's a ticketing system. Underlying, okay, let me explain first. We have applications, and we call them Nitro-based applications, because every application that we have inside of SharePoint or inside of Office 365 are based on our Nitro Studio, or we use Office 365 or SharePoint as the underlying foundation, but we found it not to have enough features to really build applications. So we developed this Nitro Studio program. So this this set of tools. This is what underlies our applications. Now, if you use it raw, what we call raw, you could build your own out of it. You could start creating forms, workflows, reports, got all these other features here, really cool stuff, very interesting, and build anything you want to within this environment to replace the legacy programs that are causing inefficiencies and redundancies and just not working out or just outdated, or maybe they're just too costly to maintain any longer. Everybody has to reduce costs, and one way to reduce costs is get rid of the stuff that costs too much and use something that's very cost effective, like Nitro Studio for forms and workflows, things like that you can consider. So this has a number of features in it: forms, workflows, reports, custom action. Let me show you some of this, how it underlies the applications, or can be used raw out of the box as it is. Well, here's a form designer. It's a WYSIWYG form designer. This is part of our Nitro Studio with many, many options. Now, this is a whole webinar in itself, so I don't want to go too deep into this, but just show you that there's a lot you can do with this forms designer to replace the whatever forms you're using. Now, if this is of interest to you, get in touch. We'll do a demo. We'll show you. We'll talk to you one-on-one specifically about what you need to have done. We are considered experts in InfoPath replacement as well as Access Forms replacement. We've done a number of webinars. I've given talks at the shows when we used to go around to the old days when we used to go around to these conferences, whether it's SharePoint Saturdays or SharePoint Fest or the Microsoft programs, whatever. We used to go around, give talks on replacing InfoPath forms. So we're well versed in this. This is something that we can certainly help you out with if you need it. And this is just a very quick glance at this forms designer and showing you that it really doesn't show you the full range of extent here. You can have dynamic forms, cascaded lookups. You can customize them with different, if you want to put your own JavaScript in or custom CSS, and then you can attach buttons to it to make it, perform certain functions. So what's the corollary that goes along with these forms are our custom actions, and custom actions are things you can define as to what you want to do for an escalation, a closing of the ticket, an assignment of the ticket. And also you can build workflows, and there's a number of workflows in our workflow design. Again, this is a cursory overview. Please get in touch and let us know what you need, and we'll get into much more detail about what Nitro Studio can do with the many, many features we have in it here to produce the application or the solution that you need. What we have going on here is a simple ticketing system, and this is really very basic because it's just a demo. And we have a form come up, and when you see this form, it has the different tabs. It has, have cascaded lookups. It pulls requester information from AD. All these different things can be dynamic. If you change the category issue type, it'll pop up other tabs or other sections of the field. You can have permissions on them. You can do just about anything. And we have these custom actions up here on the list ribbon that you're part of what we created in that custom action tool. And then you could set up whatever you wanted to do, whether you need SLAs, or you need escalations, you need closing, you need to finish a purchase order and forward it over to the purchasing department, you need approvals and approval processes. All that can be put up into the application, into the actions that are become part of the application. And of course, when our preset applications are out of the box ones, we provide a lot of those functionalities out of the box, and they just have to be tweaked a bit to your specific requirements. We also have a printing capability that produces really nice layouts of formatted Word docs, formatted PDFs that can meet the government standards. In fact, we have the forms showcase here as part of our Nitro Studio, and you can go in here and see some of the forms that we've created here in the system using Nitro Studio, and you can see that there's a number of government type forms. Even James went ahead and did this one on a W4. This is done in Nitro Studio, this right here. It looks like the form you get from the government, but it's done in Nitro Studio, just to kind of show you what's possible. And that's the same with many of these other, more prosaic forms like this one. But there it is. If you need these things on it, this is the things you can do with Nitro Studio. This is a forms showcase here. If you want to see more, you can go right to our Nitro Studio form showcase. This is very important for government because there is a lot that is specified specifically has to have on it, whether it's for regulatory or compliance reasons, or sometimes it's for like disabilities and accessibility issues too. There's a lot of we deal with that a lot also. in creating these type forms. Again, we can talk to you more specifically about your needs on that level. So so getting back to I was talking about Nitro Studio and the different kinds of applications. And in this application, you can have an employee portal. Let's see if I have it up here, right here. So instead of going to the back end SharePoint, you can have a portal interface, and the portal interface can be really say tailored to your particular look and feel that you want. You have the logo of maybe your agency up here. You could have different wording. You could have maybe have a background image. If you're in Treasury, it might be a background image of banks and money. If you're in Department of Justice, it might be a background image of scales of justice, the blind, statue, or whatever. Electricity could be electricity grid. Anyway, so what you can say is like this portal can become very user friendly. This is a very important part of using, you have to get users to use your application, right? So a very important part of it is making these portals simple and easy and intuitive to use. So a person can come in and, just whatever you want to put here and whatever other, aspects you want to put here, you can. Now, this is a classic, what we call, in SharePoint, there's classic UI and modern UI. This is a classic UI. We just as well do this in modern UI. In fact, modern UI gives us a lot more capabilities. And Crow Canyon has a whole set of modern UI web parts. Again, here I go back to our website, modern UI web parts, and you can see that we have a set of web parts that can be used in the modern UI space, particularly. So, there's many options we have, and that's why we know, we don't just think, we actually know that we can help out whatever level of government you're at, whatever your need is, whatever, small, large. We work with the military. We also work with small school districts, and we work with small cities and remote towns. I mean, it's just all over the place because everybody has the same needs to eliminate inefficiencies and redundancies and that cost savings, especially with some whether with the budget cuts that may be coming, and also with the legacy programs that are sitting there maybe not working so well anymore or missing out on new technology. If you read our InfoPath replacement ebook, you'll see that a lot of the push to go off InfoPath isn't necessarily that it's ending tomorrow or anything. It's ending in a couple of years, but you want to get out off it because you want to use new technologies now, not wait 2 years to get those new technologies, which will bring efficiencies in place. Into place. Now, what I'm going to do, since the 75 some odd people were involved in Office 365, I'm going to show you some things we can do in Teams. Because one thing is, part of Office 365, we see our applications not necessarily SharePoint applications, though they certainly are, but also full-fledged Office 365 application utilizing Teams as a more prominent factor in what we're doing here. And this is where it's going a lot of places. So here's an HR bot that we put in place using Teams. This is Teams, obviously. So you're in Microsoft Teams, and now you're doing a bot, and the bot will help answer. What's this bot doing? Okay, let me give you the framework of it. There's an HR bot. You get maybe a lot of requests through email or other ways, or maybe they have to go to the website and they can't find what they're looking for. Now, within Teams, they can just say, hi, bot, like, hello, hi, bot. You call it whatever you want. If you want to give it a name, you can. We just call it HR. Then it will answer the questions. Well, what kind of questions? How do I add a child to my insurance? I don't know. Does that make sense? So let's see what happens here. So it's a set of, it's a knowledge base that's been instituted behind the scenes that's going to respond with the question. Respond with an answer to the question I just put in. Now, to add a dependent to your insurance, see, this is running 24/7, no vacations. And the other thing is it gets smarter the more you use it, because there's telemetry behind this, meaning and analytics that will tell you, hey, the user asked these, last week, 5 users asked this question and get an answer. So you can go back and say, ooh, okay, let's update our knowledge base and make it so that those answers are in there. And next time the people come and ask the same question, bada bing, they get their answer because you updated it. So this thing not only runs 24/7, and I'm kind of excited by this because I think the economic argument for this is huge. If you're looking to cost, save money at the agency, whatever, this is huge. What it does is get smarter the more you use it, because you know what's missing, because people are asking those kinds of questions. So you start with a kind of a basic set of information and build on it. So it isn't like set and forget. This is at least over those first 6 months to a year, you're nurturing it to keep getting it more better, more better, right? So here we go. So if you want to add a dependent, you can then link it over to a form, and that form will open up in a link. If you want, this is just going somewhere. I don't know if it's the right form, but it shows you that you can open up a form that the person can fill out and give them guidance on it. And not only that, you can, what are my benefits? And then it could do stuff like give you further drill downs, where the person says, you say, well, what do you want? Disability, health insurance, family medical leave, that kind of stuff. And then it'll give you specific answers about that right there. So how do I contact HR, and it's going to give you some information there. Of course, it's whatever you put in, in the data, garbage in, garbage out kind of idea, where the knowledge base has to have information in it. But most agencies or most groups that we find already have kind of an HR FAQ somewhere, or, so you just kind of bring it in, and then you're getting all this interaction, really cool interaction with a bot here in Teams. What day is it? Wonderful. No. I don't know, okay, so it doesn't answer every question for you, does it? So it's only, you have to have the information in there. And now here's what we've done. We've taken this a step further. This is a kind of basic bot. I call it a call and response, FAQ bot. You ask a question, it gives an answer. And as long as that answer's in there, but it doesn't follow a chain. And you got to see our webinar, Hot to Trot for a Bot, or the one on Teams integration. I'll go into detail, or talk to you personally about it, but I'll go into great detail about the different kinds of bots there are. But what we did here in our Microsoft Teams, being application developers, we couldn't leave it just as an FAQ bot with simple call and response. We've taken it to a new level where there's in Teams now a self-service bot and a staff support bot. Okay, so self-service bot is meant for the end users. End users come in, and they say, what can I do, or help, or whatever. They can select a certain application, maybe a help desk or HR, or whatever. They can view what requests they have made already. So maybe they made a request. So this is more of, we're bringing business process automation into Teams. It's not just a simple bot. It's Microsoft Office business process automation inside of Microsoft Teams. Call and response is one kind of bot. Business process automation brings a whole nother level of functionality into it. So you can go view my open request, or do a search, or have questions, then enter in a ticket. And that ticket will, this question that you asked will be back-ended to the HR request system in the back. And the same for IT support or work orders, or whatever you want to do to engage with the users. You're now giving them another interface besides, they could always send an email to your support desk. They could go to a web browser for your support desk. They could go to SharePoint for your support desk. And now they can go to Teams if you're on Office 365. Of course, if you're on SharePoint on premises, it's another story. There are some bots we can do that are web-based, not Teams-based, that will work in that environment. But I'm showing you this because with a large portion of people on it, on this webinar, are on Office 365. So this kind of stuff you can do with self-service bot. You can create a new. See, it's saying help you. Have a question. You want to have a question or issue. So it's going to say, okay, what can I do to help you out? You fill out the form, and you submit it, and then it becomes a new ticket in the system. Like here's ticket number 241 and 242. So here we go. Please tell me more. Have a question or issue. What are we going to do here? Something like pages are smudgy. This has, by the way, has NLP, which is called natural language processing, behind it, and it will take whatever you put in and interpret it. Maybe it's a paper jam. Again, it depends what you have in the background, and then you could say, is my problem resolved? I want to enter more detail. I want to show related articles. It's trying to offer you a solution right here so that you can get it, the user can get an answer right away. Okay, I won't go too much more into this, but there is the staff support bot over here that is more involved because it's meant for the technicians on the back end, or the staff, who are then answering the questions. They want to see their assigned their requests, which ones are unassigned, which ones are open. It's going to do a lot of information, a lot of engagement with the system through this Teams interface. So I wanted to point that out. It's something we've been harping on a lot lately, doing webinars on. And really, if anybody's interested in this, get in touch. And this is an area of great interest, great excitement for us to move forward and what we can do to help you if you're using Teams to create either that simple FAQ bot, the more involved self-service bot for end users, or the staff support bot for staff members, so to give them a way to engage with the back-end application, but not necessarily going through the SharePoint interface if they don't want to, because a lot of people are working in Teams these days. They want to get notifications there, they want to do their work there. Admittedly, in my experience, Teams is like popular, but I don't think it's quite at the point where it's been used as extensively as it can, but I think it's going to grow. And you're going to find that you're going to come back to us and say, hey, I remember Crow Canyon had those bots. I should talk to those guys. So I want to put it out there for you. When the time comes and you're hot to trot for a bot, here we are. We'll be even more advanced in our functionality. We keep improving those on and on. In our applications, we have purchasing, we have a route with onboarding. One thing we did with an electric company is they had to perform a personal risk assessment for everybody who got hired, and that became part of their onboarding process, so that they are required to fill that out. Other thing is that when a person who already is hired then changes jobs, that person needs to again be a risk assessment. Are they qualified for that position or not? Do they have the right training? So all that gets on there. And this is not just for fun and games. This is for the fact that they get audited. So they get audited and they have to show that they have that their machinist 2 or something had the proper training and certifications, was given a risk assessment in order to be qualified for that job. This is particularly important, like say in electric, or even more so in nuclear power plants. You can't just have Homer Simpson walk in if he's not certified to run the power plant, as they say. And so you have to have these risk assessments, and also regulatory and compliance. We do a lot with that, where people want to see either the assets are managed in a way that, according to government regulations, they have to be managed in a certain way, or they have to be access requests, have to be done in a certain way also. There's many areas that we can bring to the government to reduce inefficiencies, sorry. We want to reduce inefficiencies and increase efficiencies. Sorry about that. And also eliminate redundancies and affect the cost savings that we can. So looking at this application, let me go over and show you some details of this one particular application. This is a ticketing system. We have a ticket here. We can go create a new one, enter it in. I could show you some dynamic forms, but I don't want to spend the time reconfiguring this just to show that. But you just enter in a title of my printer needs replacing, and then you can be in whatever category. Of course, you can set these up any way you want to do there. Maybe this is this is even a hardware request instead of a printing, whatever. Put a description in, HP LaserJet 50, because if you have the self-service bot, they could do this right through the Teams bot instead of this way. LaserJet 2050 not working. Okay. And then it's going to say who is it from, because it's an admin account, what I'm logged in as. It's going to know who it is. And then it's going to forward this message based on forward or like notify. And that notification can be done in Outlook or in Teams, whatever, saying that, oh, something has come in here that is, something you need to address. It needs an approval. Maybe it has to go to the manager. You set up, if it's a support request, you can set up SLAs. You can auto reply back to the user. You can do all kinds of things so that when it's submitted, the whole number of workflows are already running according to what you define. So therefore, you could have the ticket well on the way to resolution or approval or whatever process it is, so that the people can, get the responses they need more quickly and not waste a lot of time. So this might be something where you want to send it for approval and start working on it, or assign it to someone, or you can track time, you can email history, emails back and forth, associated. It might be subtasks like go order the printer. You might want to track how long it takes. You might want to have other information you want about it. If the typical kind of hardware request, you might want to have certain buttons up here that run according to you can just do things up here rather than go into the item itself. You can print out a purchase order, I mean, it's all kinds of things you can do with it. Now, the thing is, I don't want to go on and on. I'd rather have, this is a very broad audience, government. So what I'd like to do is offer the opportunity for anyone on this webinar to contact us at sales@crocannon.com or contact me directly, scott.restivo@crocannon.com. And I'll talk to you about your particular needs, particular requirements. And I always like doing that kind of research in the field of knowing, I used to go to these conferences and I talk to people all the time. So you got to know what people are looking for, what the needs are, what the requirements are. Remember those days? You used to travel around and go places. So now it's all online. So I don't want to keep you on too long. I think 45 minutes is good. But let me show you some things coming up. We have the more webinars. Nitro Studio. We go into Nitro Studio. It's about a week from today, right? Yeah, a week. Nitro Studio forms and workflows that power your digital workplace. Join that one, and I'll be glad to show you forms and workflows in detail. I only touched on it lightly here. Sorry, but that's that wasn't the focus of this. It was on all the range of solutions we have for a government and what we've done in the past and can do in the future with whether it's the bots, the applications, the Nitro Studio, custom solutions, all that. But this one will focus specifically on Nitro Studio forms and workflows. So come to this and you'll find out a lot more about it. This one is on project management and one particular program that we have, and you can focus on that. But we can talk to you about any other particular program you're interested in by talking to us directly. So now this is giving some information. Well, it says sales. Yeah, send it to sales. I usually get those too. I'm part of that mailbox, so I'll get those too. And I'll call us up, go to our website. But what I want to say at ending here is that, first of all, thank you for spending some time with us today on Crocannon Software and seeing what we have. But really, let's take it to the next step and find out how we can help you. Find out what are we a cost-effective solution for you, or can we replace that legacy program that is lingering, or even if the person isn't retiring, is something that is just dragging down the system and could be done better with modern technology. All our programs work with mobile, they work with cloud, they work with the share, it's something that we're on the cutting edge of the technologies that are out there to improve efficiencies and make your organization run better. So if you're interested in our applications, any particular one, you have a particular need, something you can't figure out, and I can't figure out, but you're not finding out there in the normal set of applications, a particular requirement due to your organization's specific needs, we can help you out. Usually easy enough to adapt what we have, tailor it, and give it at a very, very good price. We have the Nitro Studio. You can get involved in that and use that as a way to build applications. A lot of people, those are kind of developer style or power users or people who really like to play around with SharePoint and Office 365. They really get enthusiastic about Nitro Studio and what it can do and all its capabilities and features, as we do it also here. Or some people may just want a solution already ready to go, so we can provide you the business applications that do that. Now, as well as make those custom solutions. And if you want to go in the bots and AI services and find out more about that, be glad to have that conversation with you and see what we can do to implement that at your organization. Now, James, any questions?
Yeah. Let's see, we had a couple questions come through. So a couple questions about Nitro Forms. The question was if it's at a farm level or it can be used at the client side. So that's a good question. The answer is the Nitro Form tool itself is client side, or the functionality is client side, but there are some elements of Nitro Studio that need to be deployed at the on the farm, but minor things, just a few WSP files. Most of the functionality though would be client side.
Yeah. Nitro Studio can be used either at a site, it's really a site collection level, or it can be used at a tenant on Office 365 or a farm level, in which case you have unlimited. You can create unlimited number of sites with unlimited forms and workflows. We don't price per workflow. We don't price per form. So that if you do want it for the full solution for your, like if you're doing an InfoPath replacement with hundreds of forms or even 50, surprisingly, some people have 1,000 InfoPath forms they need to replace. So there's a whole process to doing that. But the Nitro Studio would be you could get a tenant-wide license or a site-wide license. Very flexible on that end.
Very good. Question about does Nitro Studio use PHP? I think the answer is no. We don't use PHP for Nitro Studio. It's mostly JavaScript.
Yeah, and we've developed everything in Nitro Studio ourselves. We don't go to any third-party tools. All the support is done in-house, and all the development is done in-house, and therefore it gives us a lot of capabilities and speed with adding on new features. If people come to us and say, hey, that should be in here, that can you do this, can you do that, and frequently within a week or two we're able to modify the enhance, I wouldn't say modify, more enhance the Nitro Studio to have even more and more features. For instance, we just added integration with Teams, where you can send a message to Teams or create a channel in Teams. That was a new. We also have the document generation. We have a number of new features and capabilities inside custom actions and workflows. And a lot of the ideas come from our customers, or our answers to real solutions, answers to real problems they have, solutions to real problems they have. And so we put it into Nitro Studio, and Nitro Studio just gets better and better. It's not that it's not great already, but it gets better. Okay.
Okay, great. And then another question was, can you talk about the signature features for Nitro?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me get up to that page. So you mean signature pad kind of stuff, right? Yeah, let's go here.
I read it to mean like the key features that it offers, but you might be right. I'm not sure if the user can clarify the question a little more.
Well, all right. Anyways, we have a signature pad option, so people can sign documents using a mobile device or their mouse on the desktop. And the signature features, in terms of what are the most prominent and of Nitro Studio or the Forms Designer. Well, the Nitro Studio, the signature things, it's a complete comprehensive tool that covers all aspects of application creation development. It isn't just forms, it isn't just workflows, it isn't just business process automation. It is a full range of features. And this is what makes our applications so powerful also, that they are based on this Nitro Studio, Nitro powered, Nitro brewed is, we could say, Nitro brewed applications. And within each one, forms, there's a whole set of features, workflows, reports, the portal itself, the advanced approvals, the bots and AI services, the branding, the conditional formatting, the custom actions, the email manager, email sync, the list rollup, list search, list view, print manager, tiles, and dials. These all came from our needs over the many years we've been doing this of what an application should have in it. And this is what, our understanding and our expression of our long history with this and long experience. Of course, you need forms, you need workflows, you need reporting, portals, different ways to engage the users, UI, UX. The 3 pillars of application design is one of our core principles here. That we developed 3 pillars of application design. That's UI, UX, engage and empower users. That's workflows and business processes to streamline and automate processes. That's the second pillar. The third pillar is reports and dashboards that drive in a continuous cycle of improvement. So all our applications are based on the 3 pillars of application design, which are the UI, UX to engage and empower users, the workflows and processes that streamline and automate operations, and the dashboards, reports, and analytics that drive continuous cycle of improvement. We have not emphasized that so much lately because but it is good to be reminded of those 3 basic principles, and they come out in terms here. You got your forms, your UI, UX, and your portals. Like right here, you got your forms, your portals, your branding, your formatting, all the things that make it so you're engaging and empower not only end users, but also staff to get the job done more quickly and more efficiently. Then you have your processes that are approvals, the workflows, the custom actions, the email processing that keeps things streamlined and automated and moving along in a way that is very, very efficient, really very easy. It makes it easy and frictionless, less friction on the process, so that things can move automatically from one stage to another based on either events or times or whatever. And then we have the reporting and dashboards and analytics. What the purpose of those is that you can go back and drive a continuous cycle of improvement by iteratively looking at what happened as to why it took so long to do this or so long to that, or how come there's so many of this kind of problem and so many of that kind of problem, and then where the bottlenecks are. And then you could go back and then revise your processes or revise your forms or educate your users or replace hardware, whatever is necessary in order to further improve the process. And this is how our applications work in that way, whether it's a government or any agency, to drive forward the needs, the requirements of being cost effective and cost savings and good there. Now we added other utilities like bots and email sync, printing, all kinds of things, and there's some legacy, but it's going that too much. But the point here is that we see our customers working with them hand in hand. Well, keeping 6 foot distance, I suppose. Anyway, well, working hand in hand, to use that expression, to help you move forward in your needs and requirements, whether it's coming from management or from you personally or from needs of the required agency, whatever way. Thing is, get in touch. We'll help you out. That's the point. And all of this is very cost effective. We're not one of these high priced Nintex or K2 costing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars or something like that. We are very cost effective solution. And we believe we can bring those cost savings to many agencies. In fact, agencies are replacing Nintex with us, K2 with us, because they just bought it. It was too complex. They put it on the shelf. They wasted all these hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars, didn't use it as well as they could, and they find something nice and simple like Crocanian's Nitro Studio and Crocanian's applications more than fit the bill. And you got a young, here 21 years, I still feel like we're a young, aggressive company that is really sensitive to the needs and requirements of our customers. So that's the thing. I think I'll leave it there. And again, James, any other questions?
Yeah, we did have a couple more come in.
Okay,
so there was clarification. It was you were correct. The signature question was about the signature capabilities, and the question is also about does it meet the legal standards for the requirements to sign the document?
Yeah, sure. Just let us what particular legal standards you're going by, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does record who the person was who signed it. It dates and timestamps it as that logged in user using the SharePoint login authentication for that user. So that's process at this point.
Yeah, there's a whole way to set this up, and I can show that in the forms and workflow workshop next week. But basically, you come in and you set up, a particular column, and it's just a way to do it. And it becomes like a pad right here, and you can sign it, and or even with the mobile with your finger, or a stylus or something, or on the desktop with your mouth, or if you have a touch screen, you can do it that way too. Right.
I think that pretty much covered the questions. So if there's any other questions, feel free to pop them into the slot. At this point, we do have a few more minutes here, so we can give it a little more time if anyone has any additional questions that they want to pop in there.
Yeah. I really, I do the webinars, and I really wonder what, if customers are interested, we're here to talk with them and find out, and what is the need, what is the requirement. It doesn't obligate anybody to buy anything. It just is. I guess I miss going out to those conferences, James, where we used to engage people on. Well, it really helps with finding out what people were looking for and doing. It's all of a sudden in March, it was like, we were supposed to go to a conference in April, conference in May, several. I mean, big one in May. So anyway, so if you can talk to us about in that way, just have a conversation, just like we would do at a booth, and say, yeah, I need this, I need that, and then maybe we fit the bill, maybe we don't. It doesn't hurt to talk and find out. Right. Anyway, so I think we're good, James. Right? And thank you everyone for attending, and appreciate you taking the time out today, and hope everyone has a nice day. Weekend's coming soon, and enjoy that. And we'll hopefully hear from you soon and be able to help you out. Thank you for attending, and feel free to send any other questions or any other information, needs, or whatever to us, and or check out our website, our blogs, keep in touch, follow us on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, and hopefully the conversation will go on. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.